when I mentioned that I was a Muslim, was that okay? That's fine for you, but don't impose that upon me. And so my family were not or are not a very religious family. There's no churchgoers. There's no discussion really of religion at any time in the family. So they thought that perhaps Islam is just a stage you're going through, and you'll grow out of it, and we'll just see what happens. So that's how the family reacted. There was no hostility, and there was no encouragement to pursue it further. It was just a neutral reaction, saying that, well, you do what you want to do, but don't expect us to follow. My family were not or are not a very religious family. There's no churchgoers. There's no discussion really of religion at any time in the family. So they thought that perhaps Islam is just a stage you're going through, and you'll grow out of it, and we'll just see what happens. So that's how the family reacted. There was no hostility, and there was no encouragement to pursue it further. It was just a neutral reaction, saying that, well, you do what you want to do, but don't expect us to follow. No, they haven't accepted it. We're taught in Islam that that we cannot change the person's intention or belief. Only Allah will do that. Certainly we can show them, present to them what Islam is about, and we do that by words, we do that by actions. And so I live I believe a fairly good life as a Muslim, observing the constraints, or observing the pillars of Islam. And so they're certainly aware of what's required, but none of them have expressed interest to go to Islam. I haven't had that reaction. The people around me have basically said, well, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. You know, I could have been taking up the Zen religion. I could have been taking up Buddhism or whatever. As far as I was concerned, it was just something that I was doing, and that you know, you're a Muslim today, perhaps next year you might be something else. So it wasn't ever decided or perceived as being a threat, because they thought, well, it's just something you're going through, and we expect you to be something else in the future. Certainly in the Australian environment or context, there's various subjects you don't talk about, and one of those is religion, and be it Christianity or Islam or any form of religion. People's eyes tend to glaze over, and interest is lost in that subject. So the opportunity for discussion of religion with non-Muslims in this society tends to be fairly limited. So you're doing more harm than good to religion to continually present it to people. The best way to present it to people is not in a verbal sense, but by demonstrating actions, and you know, observing the pillars of Islam is a good way to show people that there's some integrity in religion, that there is integrity in religion. There's certainly a feeling that you no longer observe the norms of their way of living. Alcohol is a big part in the Australian psychic, and to not drink is viewed with, in the first instance, viewed with a bit of suspiciousness by other people. But alhamdulillah, Allah works in His own ways, and I found what happens is that your friends change. I don't mean the actual friends that you have changed, but you have a new sphere of friends. You develop relationships with new people, and that's happened. That's what happened in my case. Is that the friends I now started to establish a relationship with were Muslims. So so the loss of the old friends wasn't really a problem, because I've now started to associate with Muslim friends, and so associating with the Muslim community and having Muslim friends starts to increase your faith as you go along. I think that's a difficult question to answer, the yes or no. I think the reasons people embrace Islam can be quite varied. Certainly the image that Islam has in the community is certainly a negative one, and based on the image alone, people would be frightened of it, and people are frightened of it. So that keeps people away. People would embrace Islam, or embrace Islam because they're searching for the truth, and they're prepared to look beyond the images created by the media, and unfortunately created by some Muslims themselves. But people who are looking for the truth will look behind those facades and identify what the reality is. After the recent incidences that occurred in America, I didn't have any exposure to any hostility. I felt concerned for my wife and my family. I have daughters, and they all wear the hijabs, and obviously my wife wears the hijab, so they're visibly exposed to the broader community. So I was concerned about them, but alhamdulillah, here we had, while we had a bit of fear in the community, in the non-Muslim community, about what was going on, we didn't have any overt assaults. Not to say there wasn't, but in my context, we didn't suffer any backlash from the incident. And in fact, Allah is the best of planners. We've had more people speaking to us now about Islam than we ever had before in general conversation. Well, that situation hasn't arisen largely because excuse me, it's a young family, they're young children, but and also because alhamdulillah, I have a very good wife, and we create an Islamic environment at home, and so there's no feeling that Islam is second best. There's no feeling that that we're sacrificing something to something good for something less. They understand that Islam is their religion. They understand that that's the normal for them, and they understand the beauty of, I hope so, of Islam. That's again another difficult question. It creates, you're presenting hypotheticals, which are just that, hypotheticals. If I look at the instance of my children, they're born into a Muslim family, and for them, or Islam is the natural way. It is part of their life. It gives their life meaning. Whether to turn back the time or to have that choice of being a Muslim or a non-Muslim is, if you like, a question which can't be answered. But by the same token, that question does confront Muslims who are born into the Muslim faith. They quite often the worst thing about Islam are the Muslims, not the religion. And I think some of the dawah work that's been done by our brothers and sisters around the world should be concentrated on the Muslim population to bring them back to the Quran and the Sunnah. I don't take things for granted, whereas a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew born into the appropriate family may take things for granted because they're taught that that's the way that they are, or that's the way things are. So with my embracing Islam, it was a conscious choice. There was a period of evaluation of pros and cons between